One of the many beautiful things about this instrument is its flexibility for soloing. If you look online anywhere for this drum, you'll see so many amazing videos of people just ripping into this drum, making the most amazing solos. Whether it's actually solos unaccompanied or accompanied solos with the rest of the bateria, or, you know, they've just got a really tasty groove that you can't hear anywhere else. This drum is perfect for that sort of thing. However, when you're getting started, it can be really, really intimidating to start doing anything like that. Especially if you want to play, it feels even more intimidating. If you're in your band, playing along, your director points to you like, go, do a solo, and you're like, ah, which happens all too often. Today, I'm going to give you a framework to help build a solo. This stuff is applicable to other drums, so feel free to use it there as well, but I'm focusing today on Timbal, mainly because it's one I get asked a lot about, as I'm not one to shy away from a flashy moment on this drum. Any percussionist or even other instrumental soloists that you see and think, oh, that's incredible, they've got a catalogue of phrases and licks that they can play. And more often than not, they're picking and choosing, playing around different orders with that catalogue of material, as well as referencing the song that they're playing. It could even just be a variation of the home bass groove and they do something else, or like add a couple of notes, take away a couple of notes. Many players prepare their solos at home and bring it and practice it and make a set sequence that they know they're going to play and take it out and play that with confidence. So today we're going to talk about how to build one of those sequences that we know we can play. The simplest way to get started with this really is just collecting a few phrases that you know or would like to know, practicing them at home just along to a groove, playing over the groove. You're not thinking about soloing necessarily, seeing how it fits the feel of the rhythm that you're soloing over. It might vary a little bit depending on what you're playing. Like if you're playing a fast funk, it might not work with like a slow swung samba reggae. Some of these phrases will, but it's a little bit of trial and error to find what is appropriate for the music. For the purposes of today, let's look at Ijexá. Ijexá is an Afro-Brazilian rhythm. It's a really popular rhythm. If you've not heard it, I'd recommend listening to a lot of it. Same for any soloing you want to do. If you want to solo over something, listen to a lot of the music. Bonus tip, I guess. The basic groove that we're going to use here is slap, slap, bone, slap. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the groove that we're going to solo over and sort of create a framework with as an example. So let's take 5 variations that we can use, or phrases. Many of these phrases are kind of classics and go-to licks that I use all the time. Some of these are direct references from Ijexá from playing the low atabaque, the hum, which is a drum that does a lot of variations in that style of music. Phrase 1 is going to be, so that's, you can flam that slap or you can not. So it's 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slap, don't slap, 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 slap. This is phrase 1 that we're going to use. If you need to take a pause, practice that a few more times, please do so. But let's move on to the next one. Phrase B, it's a classic. We're going to play triplets alternating between slaps and tones. So it's going to go 1 da 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 da. Slap 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 tone tone tone. Slap 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 tone tone tone. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This you will have heard lots in samba reggae if you've listened to enough of it. Another phrase that we can use that's really straightforward: 4 tones, 4 slaps, 4 tones, 4 slaps. All is semiquavers or 16ths. So 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, one more time. Swiftly moving on, we have a classic EJ Shah reference that's only 2 beats long. So you would start this at the second half of a beat. So it was 1, 2, the phrase. Phrase is going to be all tones in this example, but the beauty of a solo is that you can play around with this and do your own thing. But the phrase itself is ba ba da da da, ba da 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 da, ba da 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 da. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You could also flam the start of that. Already giving you examples that you can use to flare these phrases up. And finally, another just 2-beat phrase, quintessential EJ Shah, used on the home to call a lot of the time the sort of start of the song or the end of the song, which is 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, tone, 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 1, 2, tone, 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 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So once you've practiced these a bit and got them in your hands, practiced at home a bit, you can then just decide in advance and sit and work out, okay, what order do I like to play these phrases in? Do I like to do A, B, C, E, D? Do I like A, B, C, E, D, D, E? The world is your oyster at this point. Once you've got a collection of phrases, you can just play around with them and just go between them, even taking out bits of phrases and then sort of skipping into the next one. You could extend a bit of a phrase and play it again and loop it, or there's infinite possibilities, which is the overwhelming part, I think, for me anyway. An example for this could be playing the groove. Adding in these little phrases like every bar or so. A bar of groove, a bar of A, a bar of groove, a bar of B, a bar of groove, blah, 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 etc., etc. That is another really easy way to apply this material. So let's hear an example of me using these phrases I've just taught you in context. So now, let's try out some of these phrases, yeah? This is our EJ Shah. Surdo's just sort of on a marcação. Boom, binging, boom, binging. And the algo go playing the main EJ Shah part. We've got our phrases A. Bat, go, bat, go, bat, bat, bat. Yeah? Then we've got B, which is our triplets. Da-ga-da-da, do-ga-do-do, da-ga-da-da, do-ga-do-do. One more time. Then we have C, which is do-do-do-do, da-da-da-da, do-do-do-do, da-da-da-da. 1, 2, 3, 8. And again. Then we had our D, which is 1, 2, 1, 2. had our E, I guess. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now I'm going to use these, chop them up and change them, and just see what happens, yeah? So starting off with the groove. So just there, I used everything that we've talked about. We've got A, B, C, D, E, chopping up and extending phrases to add in more flavor, and not being entirely sure of where I'm going to go. And that little bit of jeopardy that adds the excitement to the solo, I think. Some extra tips for your soloing. Don't be afraid to leave some space. If anything, space adds a bit of tension, which can make you feel really scared, but it also adds a bit of suspense for people listening to your solo and thinking, oh, what are they going to do next? What are they going to do next? Which adds a bit of excitement to it. A bit like people who don't speak very often are very careful with their words. You're kind of almost waiting to hear what they're going to say. So same if you leave lots of space in your solo. The difficulty with that being that if you're too uncertain about what it is you want to play or say, then people don't know when you've stopped. So making it really, really obvious that like you still have the intention of playing this solo and you're not done just yet. An even simpler and slightly different framework that you can use to solo is just play a different groove. So like if you're in a samba reggae thing with your percussion group, why don't you play something else, like another groove from a different song, and see if that works as like a solo piece? Equally, you could decide that I want to play the groove, but instead of one tone and 2 slaps, I'm going to do 3 slaps and 2 tones, like adding in notes, taking away notes, adding in little variations, and actually adding in variations as you play in the context of like a percussion rehearsal is actually a really good way to practice that skill set of like, okay, I want to do something different to this. What can I come up with? And it's sort of a bit safer. Lots of other people playing. Nobody's really watching you, right? Because that's part of the scary thing of soloing, is that people are watching what you're doing. To kind of exemplify a lot of these things, here's a clip of me soloing with my group Bloco Dandara over in EJ Shah at a gig. This solo moment happens every time we play this song in the Bloco. No two solos are exactly the same. I'm starting to fall into the other problem when you get too used to soloing, that you play the same thing over and over again, it becomes really unsatisfying. So there's a balance there. But ultimately, that's all I'm doing. I've got a collection of phrases that are just in my head and in my hands, and I'm using them to kind of tell a bit of a story, as cliche as that is. Let me know if you've started soloing from this, or you've tried any of these things at home and found an improvement. I'd love to hear that kind of thing. Got any questions about Timbal or anything else Brazilian percussion related? Also, feel free to drop them in the comments. If you check the link in the description, I've got other resources, and on the channel, I've got loads of free videos all about this kind of music. Hope to see you in the next video, and take it easy.